All right, hello everybody. I'm here with Dr. Crone here. He's a teacher, professor here at Moravian University, and he was my professor. He's a really good professor, really nice guy. And how you doing today, Professor?
I'm fine.
Fine.
How you doing, Nico?
Good. I'm gonna ask you some simple questions,
Sure.
a little discussion about public speaking because right now I'm learning about preparing for speeches and how to prepare for it and how it could make you become a good communicator in the world.
Okay.
So the one question I'm going to ask you is basically, how is preparing for a lesson plan, you're teaching for students, how is that important in a student's learning experience in the classroom?
And I assume you're talking not just about a public speaking class, but any course, right?
Oh, yeah, because you teach more. I know you teach multiple courses.
A whole variety of courses. It's crucial. It's crucial to have a sense of what you're doing before you come into the class. To me, and this certainly applies to public speaking in a sense that a class is sort of like an interactive public speaking event, regardless of what discipline it is. Knowing the material is just the start, and that may seem hard to students, but knowing the material is just the start of being well prepared for a class. And the second thing, also for public speaking, would be having the material not just learned and mastered, but organized, so you make an organized presentation. But even there, if all you're doing is presenting the public speaking aspect of giving a class, that to me is just professing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Professor is an interesting word. You're just professing, and that's easy to make that presentation, but that doesn't say anything about your interactions or your anticipations with the audience. So, I know how long an answer you want, but to me, the next step after being knowledgeable and organized is thinking about where your students are and how you can package main concepts to get them to bridge from where they are to where they should be going, and that's and getting them to be engaged. So that to me is the key.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really complicated for a teacher, especially how hard it is. My mom's a teacher; she teaches 31 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, teach younger kids, but still hard for her. Same things you do, she does really. Now, another thing I was really interested in asking is like, is it hard? Like how hard is it really to know the material, to actually go in there and actually talk to a bunch of freshmen, juniors, seniors just glaring at you or like in awe, like how hard is that for like a young teacher? You think when you first started?
For a young teacher, I don't know. I've almost forgotten because I've been at this about 45 years. For me, again, knowing the material, and this is certainly true for public speaking. Knowing the material should just be an absolute given. Knowing what you want to say should be an absolute given, so that you're focused on that dynamic, that interaction between you with your knowledge and your experience and your age and gray beard, in my case, and where the students are, and trying to bridge that gap. It's easy to awe students. It's easy to be impressive, right? Because we have the knowledge, we've done the studying. The hard part is creating that interest and that bridge where you can package certain concepts and get them to buy in. So that's the challenge. But for me, at this stage of my career, that's the whole focus. I'm not worried about whether I know the material or whether I have it organized in my head or on paper. I'm worried about that communication. And for that, each class, each section differs. Two back-to-back sections of freshman writing, which I had with you, and I had another section right after that. You guys were different from the other class, even though you were the same exact course. And I also teach adult nurses Spanish.
Oh yeah.
So that's very, very different from teaching freshman writing.
Yeah. So what I'm getting here is like you kind of do need a feel for the room, the atmosphere you have here, like in your classroom. Like that helps you a lot lot of ways in teaching.
And some of that's experience. Some of
yeah.
that's personality.
Mhm.
But I can't just walk in and feel the room. I need to be prepared with a repertoire of exercises and examples, and then based on how I'm reading the room,
Okay.
pick that repertoire. I don't know to what extent comedians probably do that. Maybe they change their act or change their delivery or eliminate certain jokes because of the audience they're interacting with.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of things I'm learning in class now really do tie in with teaching. And one last thing I want to talk about was I know my professor Ward was teaching me that even if you mess up in a speech, no one knows you mess up other than yourself unless you say, "Oh, I messed up there." You're like, you really make it seem obvious. Does that happen a lot? With you in the past and like in teaching, like you messed up like a concept, like and you realize you did it, but like you don't like show your students, or like do you tell your students, "Oh, I messed up. I'm sorry." Like do you let it be known you messed up a lot of times, or like?
I think it's different for public speaking.
Yeah.
I agree with your instructor. You should just continue.
Yeah.
I think I did a good bit of acting in my younger life.
Yeah.
And the key is if you drop a line or even drop a prop or something, continue on. Don't break character, as the phrase goes. In instruction, your audience is responsible for performing eventually on a test or on a paper. So if you screw up, I think you need to correct it. Yeah, okay. I think you need to acknowledge it in ways that you wouldn't if you were a politician, a speech maker, or a comedian.
It's different. Well, I want to thank you for your time.
You bet.
And this is Professor Crone here at Raven College. Thank you.